Vanguardian News, we're coming at you live today. A result of, once again, should us as American citizens, the voting public, the people that's actually registered voters that's going out here voting every day, should we be outraged? Because it doesn't seem like anything is getting done when it comes to policy, when it comes to bills. Uh, Republicans are blocking. They just had a bill with the veterans as far as these pit fires, these toxic pit fires that's really putting veterans in harm's way as far as the breeding in this all this toxic stuff. And when they have to burn all this equipment, military equipment, vital information, who knows? They have to get rid of it. They have to burn it. And to me, that bill should have passed. So the thing is, where the Republicans got scared off in regards when they said the bill included mandatory spending as far as spending the money for the veterans to get help, whatever they need to assist them in their life. And Republicans kind of knew this. Then when it came down to voting, they voted against it. See, these are the games that uh, these parties are playing. So my question is, should we start thinking about maybe a third, seriously running in getting a third party or a few parties that can participate? And I know that can be dangerous for a lot of the establishment because they don't want to see a third party person come in and take any votes from them and from their constituency. So I like moderate uh, candidates, more centralized down the middle, because I believe people like Liz Cheney. Um, I don't really have a problem with Manson, but he's getting a little bit too powerful. So we need to have someone on the Republican side that we can kind of like, hey, checkmate him a little bit. But uh, once again, it's just a lot of different things going on. But the American people are the ones who are being left out because I believe parties should be looking out for the best interests of the country. They got to put the best interests of the country above their personal interests. And we know you have big pharma, big business, uh, that machine dictating a lot of these politicians, but it shouldn't be that way. It should be the American voters who are dictating. And it's a fine line, it's the game that you play, the politics and all the different scenarios that be played with it. But at the same time, we as Americans, we're getting the short end of the stick. Now, gas prices are trying to come down a little bit. They're coming down the last couple of weeks, still too high. I'm still paying over $5 a gallon. I got to get premium for my vehicle. So, my technique is I treat half like it's empty. And that still can cost you close to $60, $70 to fill up. It's outrageous, but these are some of the things we have to do to adjust to what's going on. Um, Now the feds are thinking about raising the interest rates, uh, and that can happen. Then you have the threat of a signs of a recession, and that can happen. So um, it's it's really it's really looking pretty choppy and pretty, you know, going forward. Food shortages, the alleged food shortages. When I go to the grocery store, there's plenty of food that's on the shelves, plenty of meat that's in meat cases. Uh, but that's just in my area. I can't, you know, I'm not all over the country to see, how it is for someone else. So I have to go by what they're saying. They're saying there's food shortages and also the inflation is out of control. So there's a lot of different scenarios that's going on that people are concerned about. Uh, Biden, um, I don't know. I don't know about Biden. To me, he's underwhelming, like I said before, as a president. His presidency is underwhelming. I don't know what Kamala Harris is doing. They seem to have her tucked somewhere. I thought she would be a little bit more aggressive. Her mind can be used to um, maybe kick off some type of initiatives. I think she can be vital to, um, getting behind certain things, maybe, uh, you know, a lot of different bills, you know, but I don't make that call. The Democrats make that call. And so I'm not happy with both parties. I'm not happy at all. But all I can do is voice my concern and roll with the punches at this point. But I am concerned. I am concerned. Now, you have the midterms coming up shortly. I told people when Biden got elected, we cannot be in celebratory mode. We have to move forward and be aggressive. And to my disappointment, it seemed like we were just so happy that Trump got out of office. And we're so concerned about Trump, Trump, Trump. Um, the January 6th committee, to me, had a lot of evidence that they presented that, I think charges should be brought up on Trump, but that's just me as a citizen. Uh, it seemed like the Republican Party, he still has the control over the Republican Party. Now, I know that Rupert Murdoch is kind of since not really covering him as much. Trump is not on Twitter, as you know. So um, there's a lot of different things, man. I mean, he got the live golf tournament, that disaster, because it didn't seem like anybody was there. And so he's, his rhetoric, he's still down Mar-a-Lago with DeSantis. And it seems like DeSantis is the new darling for Rupert Murdoch on Fox News. I mean, when I turn on Fox News now, I barely hear anything about Trump. Here and there, but not, he's, obviously there's been a shift in his coverage. And he's probably not not liking that at all. And DeSantis is now the new darling there for Fox News. So we'll see how that plays out. But I don't think Trump should be on the ticket. I think that he's done some reprehensible stuff, as we know, and this lying about the election being stolen. But yet, every time it goes to court, even the judges that he's appointed in these courts and these federal judges has rebuked that claim time in and time again. So it's been rebuked, and so he hasn't had any evidence outside to say they were stolen. And I saw one young man that kind of didn't go into the Capitol, but he was obviously they have some fellas on him, pepper spraying the crowd, and he was armed. He came in town armed with some type of assault rifle. Don't know what particular brand it was, but he's facing 15 years sentence, which would probably be one of the uh, harshest sentence for this type of thing in the history of the country. And sometimes people have to be made examples of, you know. And obviously, he threatened his family. They had evidence of that. He's threatened his family. He made threats against the. It just seemed like he was a guy that's kind of out of control. Got caught up online with a far right group, and so he's deserving of that 15 years, in my opinion. He's deserving of it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how it plays out. Sure, it's a politic. It's a political football at this point, but the law is the law, and Merrick Garland uh, really needs to. He says that he's going to prosecute people to the full extent of the law. So I can only hold him accountable to what he said. Seems like it's a slow process. Um, the law is always slow. Justice is always slow, and so we as people, we just have to deal with it. We just have to deal with it, being patient. And I want someone to go to jail. I want to see someone, because this is costing the country a lot of money. And it'll be a shame that we go through this dog and pony show even though as serious as it is, you saw what happened to uh, Mr. Bannon last week, and he's still not taking it serious. So I'd like to see someone go to jail, someone be held accountable, and like I said, we're just gonna have to be patient. I saw that Biden took out Amin, Ayman al Kawari, head of the Al Qaeda, took him out in Kabul, Afghanistan, and he was the current head of Al Qaeda, was, and so they did a drone attack on him while he was out on his balcony. That's one of his habits. He likes to go out on his balcony, I guess, and get fresh air. All accounts, they did a Hellfire missile, killed him. I know he had a family and a wife, but they're saying, reports are saying that they were unharmed. So they say. So I don't know, but he's been taken out. So he was one of Osama bin Laden's right hand men. There's Al Qaeda, and this stuff is still going on. And for him to be in Kabul under the Taliban, control, I thought there was a back and forth going on. You see, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust these bad guys, man. You can't trust them. So apparently, CIA has been tracking him for quite some time, learning his habits, and they got him. So, they got him. And so there's one more bad guy that's not here, and to cause any harm for Americans and innocent people. So he's been taken out. Also saw that Nancy Pelosi touched down in Taiwan. That's controversial too, because China, with their threats, and they want to really take back Taiwan. They want to really do what Vladimir Putin is doing with Ukraine. So I'm not going to be surprised if China tries to flex their muscles, and we think of Taiwan as a sovereign nation, but they're not in NATO, and their skies and their airspace should be kind of sovereign. But China is a big presence over there, and they want to take that country back and put them under their wing, and so they're going to test us, and so we have to show some type of presence. I think that was the first high-ranking official to visit Taiwan since Newt Gingrich, I think like 25 years ago. I'm not sure, but it's been a while. So it's a historic. Visit, to say the least. But I did hear some news that there's been some discussing of Nancy Pelosi maybe retiring after the midterms election. That was reported by Fox News. But I don't know how true that is. I was ready for her to move on years ago, but apparently she's still there. I just want a new infusion of leadership. Maybe AOC and the squad can take over. But you got to put these people to work, man. These people are enthusiastic about their jobs. They want to make inroads. They want to make the country better. And we have to pass that buck along. The old guard is still trying to hold on to power. They're still trying to dictate. As far as the progressives, they want to see things happen. They're tired of just waiting around, dealing with silliness. But you got the Chuck Schumers of the world, like I said, the Senator Manson and people like that. Even on the Republican side, you have Lindsey Graham and just so many of them that seems to just nothing is getting done. Nothing is getting done in the country. And so I would like, as far as me as a voter, I like to see a youth movement. No question about it. I like to see a youth movement, an enthusiasm, an infuse of youth, and a president that, a future president that's not in their 70s. So, someone that's centered. But that's just me. That's just what I like to see. But I haven't seen a candidate right now that I can throw my vote behind as of this moment. Now, there's been some scuttlebutt that they don't want Biden to be the representative. They don't want him to be the Democratic or for reelection. They want him to step aside. Now, knowing Biden, he's not going to do that. So, but do you have a candidate in line that we can push that can win 2 years from now in the general election? Right now, no. They don't. I don't know who that person is. Now, somebody might step up to the plate and make themselves available and, um, show some leadership. But you see on the Republican side, a lot of Republicans are going to side with DeSantis now because they're trying to move away from Trump. And DeSantis is like, he's so outrageous too in some of his policies, but he's not Trump. But, so they kind of got something, their ducks lined up in a row a little bit, but remains to be seen. Remains to be seen, but we need something, man. Our communities, we need help. The whole thing about elections, especially in the local communities, as far as your superintendent, school superintendent, your sheriffs or your police department, and your police funding and stuff like that, is, community friendly. Are they community friendly? Because it's easy to police and just be, from somewhere else. You come here, you don't know anything about the area that you're in. So I know it can be tough. You're not used to dealing with people of a darker hue, or so you just come in with a certain attitude, and that's not going to play well in communities. You know what I'm saying? So, because let's face it, the community is changing. The complexion of the community is changing every day. And so a lot of this, that's why you have this abortion thing being, uh, set aside, rolled back. Because let's face it, a lot of Caucasians are in fear that their numbers are down. They're looking down the road and saying, oh man, we're not going to have control anymore. Let's face it, that's what it's all about, But so we'll see how that play out. Roe versus Wade, as far as the states. There's a key vote that I believe that's in, I want to say, I'm not sure if it's in Kansas. Yeah, Kansas, where there's a vote on the Roe versus Wade in the state. Um, and I think a lot of political pundits are looking at that to see how that vote go. And that can, whether the state strikes down Roe versus Wade, the state of the state of Kansas, that can be a sounding point, um, a pivot to a lot of other things to come. So keep an eye on that if you pay attention to stuff like that, because it's very important. So, but like I said, the numbers are down for them, and so they want to. It's diabolical, but they self-preservation. Let's call it what it is: a self-preservation, and a way to control the power even more. So once they lose those numbers, they're not in control as much. Uh, the hue is different. People of color are a little bit more in position to impact their neighborhoods better, impact the political scene. So that makes people nervous. And so when you're nervous, you do desperate things. So let's just call it what it is. Keep it a buck. So that's just me. You please like, subscribe, share this live. Whenever I go live, I'm just playing around a little bit with different ways to bring content to the listeners and to my subscribers on Vanguardian News. I also have two other platforms, which is Vanguardian TV and the Mid Game Network. So check those out when you got an opportunity. And, hopefully you can subscribe and share and hit the like button. So I'm not going to hold you. Just thought I'd do a quick live today. But for the most part, we as a people, we have to really pay attention to what's going on. It's okay to party, play, we work, but we have to really pay attention to what's going on. That way, when it comes election time, you kind of have a sense of what's happening, and it's always good to be in tune to the streets and whatever else concerns you. Like I said, a lot of people are concerned about the economy. A lot of people are concerned about the food shortage, the supply lines, and gas prices, inflation. Um, Pretty soon, children are going back to school. Seem like the summer, short. But so there's a lot of different things. And what Americans want, they want to be able to, you know, make sure that their community is safe, law and order is being done correctly. Uh, People are tired of getting brutalized by the police. So we need to be in tune with your neighborhood. And if you have concerns, voice those concerns. And what you really can do, if you're register and vote, and you can cast your vote to make changes. That's about the most powerful tool that you have at your disposal is your vote. So with that said, hope everyone is doing well and continue to just continue to be, uh, you know, be engaged. Be engaged with the community. Be engaged with your leaders. Be engaged with uh, what's going on around you. Looking out for your neighbor. Looking out for the youth and the elderly, and being 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 able to navigate these streets safely. And um, if there's something that you don't like, voice your concern once again. So take care, and we will see you soon. Bafu Shakadir, Vanguardian.